The use of sign language came from part of the inception. I've always been fascinated how visual and expressive sign language was, and when I did further research and I got to understand the language a little bit more, realized that it's a lot more curt and straightforward. So the loss of information or connection is sometimes it's a good word for it. Sometimes it doesn't need to happen because people say what they mean, and a sign is a sign, where voices have inflections and other things. Not saying that sign language doesn't, but I really appreciated the level of communication, especially that it was nonverbal and could be done in anywhere and any time. Even a full-blown argument could happen and no one would be the wiser unless you were paying attention to the signs. As a director, what I look for, I look for competence. I guess the easiest management job is to find people who are good at what they do and let them do it. My DP, my editor, my actors, once we're all telling the same story, I know I have the right crew. Because everything they do is moving towards telling the same story with their own particular art form. My DP with the cinematography, my actors with their characters, even the sound designers and the editor. Everybody's moving to tell the same story. So for crew members, I'm looking at people who are very good at what they do and people who are all telling the same story. This film was a short and not a feature. One is circumstance and difficulty. I definitely have an expanded story for this lovely couple, but I wanted to tackle their introduction and them connecting on the train. I think that part of the story was essential to tell first, even if I don't get into the feature film, which delves more into their lives, their struggles, and what they don't struggle with at the same time, where the sign language is not an obstacle, but more of an asset to their relationship. The purpose of the film, it's a dual purpose. One is I am a bit of a hopeless romantic, and it's a bit of a love letter to my partner. She amazes me most of the time, and sometimes I just don't have the right words to express it, but I can write a movie. So just like the main character who signs because the words get in the way, the words definitely get in my way, so I made a movie. And the other thing is it's a story that needed to be told. I mean, people connect. I remember meeting people and having marvelous conversations on the train, and I think with headphones and your phone, you don't necessarily have that same ability to connect. So we're still out there, we're still people, and we're still reaching out to connect with each other. Story, because I'm a sucker for story, but every film has story, and connection between the characters, connection between the lens, connection between the sound elements, but it's that ability to connect. I mean, when I see a movie, when it reaches out from the screen and connects to me in multiple levels, that's when I think it's a good film. And I say story, but I'm a sucker for any kind of story. But yeah, story and connection would be the things that really draw me to film. How the film was done, it was done with permits. We had insurance, we had permits. We scheduled around the optimal day of shooting on the MTA, which unfortunately was a day that half the MTA was shut down, but we managed to make it work for us. So yeah, did it by the book. Well, mostly by the book. Development deal. What this film does show is it shows a team working cohesively together. I mean, the several challenges that it took to make this film, and everybody doing their job at a top level. Shot selection, even the train car that we shot in, the management of the schedule of knowing which train to get on and when to get off and what side to put everyone on, and would it be better to go all the way down and then shoot all the way back up, or should we ride it down then come back up and ride it again? The actors who spent well over 6 weeks preparing, they both know sign language, but they really we hired an ASL instructor, and myself and the cast would rehearse with her over the 6-week period. So they did a tremendous job. And my sound designer just sat down, looked at the film, and was like, I got it. I got what this should sound like. I got what this should feel like. So everyone from top to bottom really just put their best foot forward. And I think their best foot forward is the only foot that they know how to put. So why does this team deserve a development deal? This is what we can accomplish with limited resources. With more resources, I think we can, well, I know we can accomplish more without, just throwing money at problems, and actually taking our ingenuity and our film know-how and creating a beautiful project. The ability to communicate. I have to know the story, but if I can't communicate what I'm seeing and what the story's telling, I'm kind of useless. I direct with a rather gentle hand. I feel like, I mentioned before, as long as we're all telling the same story, you should get going. So a communicator, a great director is a communicator on multiple levels, both technically, aesthetically for design, technically with the DP and lighting, and definitely artistically with the actors. I spent a lot of years studying different acting techniques and, of course, method acting to be able to communicate with actors with the vocabulary. And back in the day when we studied film, we had to learn everything, so I would be able to communicate with everyone. So again, let's shorten this answer. Communicator. A great director can communicate on multiple levels. I would give myself the piece of advice that I give the students now. It's fail often, fail big, and do it a lot. Do it a lot because, if you get it right the first time, especially when it comes to art, you're probably doing it wrong. And I was a bit of a perfectionist, and I was like, get it right, get it right, get it right. And it's only in retrospect do I look back and realize how much I learned, so much more that I learned by failing than actually succeeding. I'm not saying look for failure, but when I failed and could look back and take it apart and put it back together, it allowed me to move forward and, one, not make those mistakes again, but also leap start, artistic creativity. Like a mistake yesterday is, 4 great scenes, a week from now. So fail and be okay with failing, but with the failure, get up and keep going. Look at what you did wrong and go back and look at it and then do it again, because I fail now, I fail often. I just fail much faster than I did when I was younger, so it looks like I'm getting it right, but still failing. But now I appreciate it as a lot more than I did then.
Oh dear,